Wait, who's talking?
Hello?
Rishabh, you're talking, right?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, cool.
Okay. Yeah, Rishabh, why don't we get started, bro?
All right, cool. All right, so hey, my name's Rishabh, of course, as you heard for the twice. I'm a student here at Florida Institute of Technology. I'm studying software engineering and I'm doing a minor in business, bachelor's, and it's super exciting and stuff's really great. And after joining the business, it's becoming even better. So first off, can I ask everybody to turn off your cameras to mute, and also turn your cameras on? And can I ask everyone to take notes because there's a lot of information that'll be coming at you very fast. Another thing is that this whole meeting's purpose is pretty much to learn the next level of the four basics. It's a bit more intermediate, but for those of you who don't know what the four basics are, we'll definitely go over that as well. Other than that, I'm going to say that there's a meeting at Dayton, Ohio. Not a meeting, it's a conference, and please go if you can. It's literally one of the most exciting things you'll get to see if you're here, a part of Amway, a part of Brit Worldwide. It's something that will really change your life. I am excited to go myself. I'm talking to Muhammad, my upline, and he's really saying that it's something that really changes your whole perspective in terms of business, and also it changes your perspective towards life as well. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce the next speaker, Abdul. He's a physics student at SUNY Albany, getting ready to graduate. He's building on a fast track to take note. So he's building a fast track, so please take notes on what he says. All right, so over to you, Abdul.
Hey guys, how's it going? Abdul here. Thanks a lot, Rishabh. Great introduction. Like you said a little bit about myself. I'm a student at SUNY Albany, studying physics, and my upline is none other than the one and only brand new silver going on platinum, Muhammad Khan. And today's talk is about leveraging your upline, whoever that may be. In my case, is Muhammad, in all steps of the four basics. So my topic for today is the phone call, the first step of the four basics, and you should really be trying to, edify and use your upline as much as possible in all steps of the business, because they're going, to achieve the next level anyway, and you might as well tag along. It's the fastest way to grow in this business. I have a few, notes here, bullet points that I want to go over with you guys. I only have a few minutes, so it's not going to go too in depth. And also, as Rashad also mentioned, that anything I say, this is a more intermediate level. Just check with your upline before making any changes to what you're doing right now in the business. And with that, I'll start. The first topic is, as you all know, there's three types of lists. When you're making phone calls, there's A list, B list, and C list. Okay. All three different lists have different levels of trust and credibility with them. Okay. I'm going to be more focused on your A and B list when you're talking about using your upline. Because for your A and B list, you have a high level of trust. These are, your close friends and associates, but your credibility is very low. Okay? So they're definitely going to be willing to listen to you because you're close friends with them. But, if you have your buddy of 4 or 5 years, your roommate, and you come up to them and say, hey, listen, I have a business I'm working on, and he's like, oh, look, this, multi-million-dollar business is Amway, blah, blah, blah. They can be like, yo, dude, I was just getting drunk with you a few days ago, and now you're talking about making $1 million. They're not going to really take it seriously, okay? So that's why you really want to bring your upline in that case when it comes to your close friends, A and B list. You have high trust, but you have very low credibility with these people. How you do that is you don't want to kind of take the spotlight off yourself, basically. And you want to say, listen, a friend of mine, a senior partner of mine, he's working on this project and he's looking for people to work with, and I recommended your name. You don't want to make it seem like your upline is a close friend of yours, because then he won't take you as seriously either with your upline. you want to make it seem like this is a very important person that you've met. Almost how you would not in the same sense as your boss, but how you would introduce like a very famous person, a celebrity more like, you know, because that's who your upline is. Your upline is a celebrity for you. That's how you want to edify him, okay? And when you want to give information about the business, you don't want to talk about yourself again, because in that case, when it comes to A/B list, you are nothing but a student. You are nothing but someone who's learning and getting started at any phase, right? At any phase, you want to be talking about your upline, where he's going, what he does, and your team. Okay. But when you introduce your upline, you want to introduce him to edify him, but you don't want to exaggerate. You don't want to say, hey, listen, I'm working with Muhammad Khan. This guy's making like millions of dollars, you know? And then he pulls up to my house in a Toyota Corolla. It's not going to be looking good for either of us. So you want to be, genuine with it, but you want to also tell him the importance of what he's doing. Okay? For example, I would mention like, yeah, I'm working with a senior partner of mine, Muhammad Khan. In his full time, he's an aerospace and mechanical engineer, working for one of the top aviation companies in the world on defense projects. That by itself is already where I would want to be as a professional in my field. On top of that, he's already looking to replace his full-time income through this business in his spare time. Okay? So business aside, you want to make sure that your upline is someone worth listening to in any aspect, professional or business. Okay? And again, the most important thing is not to exaggerate and to just be genuine about it. After that, you want to make sure that when you're booking a time for a meeting, whether or not your upline is there with you booking the time, you want to make sure that, again, this is a close friend of yours, okay? And I know many of you guys know that, close friends, they trust you, but they also, can say like, oh, he's just a buddy of mine. I can meet with him anytime I want. I live right next to him, So you don't want to make the appointment on your time. You want to make sure that your prospect knows that you're meeting on your upline's time, okay? And you want to make sure they respect his time more than your own. So that, for example, you have to say something along the lines of, from what I would say is that, my upline, my senior partner is a very busy person, and he has a lot going on for him right now. And I recommended your name, and I'm only thinking he can squeeze in a few minutes. So just don't make me look bad. Make sure that you're there and just don't make me look bad, So you want to say these things more so that they value your upline's time, okay? Why do we want to do any of this? Why do we want to do all this? Obviously, the first reason why is that you want to make sure that this is a close friend of yours. That's great, but you want to make sure they understand the seriousness of this business from the beginning. Also, you want to make sure that you set high standards for the prospect from the beginning. Whereas if you make sure it's very easy, very relaxed, and then try to tell him like, hey, this is a serious business, it's going to be a lot harder to bring him around to the seriousness if he's already having fun. That's pretty much what I have to cover for today. A few are actually CDs that I would recommend. I don't have time to get into it, but a few BSMs that I've listened to that are really good on these topics that you should definitely listen to if you want to get more is BWW 1918. Again, that's BWW 1918. That they talk a lot about edification and how you can go about, talking about your upline. Okay. Another one is a recent one, BWW 1931. Okay. 1931 talks about how to stay in communication with your upline throughout the four basics. So this would apply for my concept or for my topic as well as the rest of the topics today. Okay. So that's it for me, guys. I want to introduce the next speaker up, Ali Shan. He's an engineering student at FIT. He's not even in Florida right now. He's in Ohio on an internship. But even so, he's connecting, he's learning, and he's leveraging his upline, no matter where in the country, where in the world he is, okay? He's, up and coming in the Melbourne team, making a big waves all across Florida. So, give it up for Ali Shan, guys.
Hey, thank you so much, Abdul. That was very informative, very fantastic kind of introduction to the phone qualification and how to leverage upline. just one kind of comment before I get started. The purpose of all of this is to kind of make sure that, you know, when you're when you're bringing up your guests, the inception of their mindset about the business starts from the phone qualification. We always talk about, you know, oh yeah, I showed 5 plans this week. I showed this many plans. It doesn't matter how many plans you show. The ideation, the forming of the image starts with the phone qualification. So I want you guys to keep that in mind as I kind of go into my topic. My topic is how to leverage your upline while showing the plan. Now, the first and foremost thing to remember, and that this is the main idea, is the respect for your upline should be there at all times. Okay, your guest should not feel that he's, you know, even though you're really good friends with your upline, he should not feel that this business is based on that friendship. Because then, as Abdul said, he or she will not take you seriously. This is a serious opportunity. Okay. So you know, as the plan starts, either in your personal plan or in a group kind of you know, meeting, you first introduce your upline. You talk about them, you edify them, you talk about their professional career or how much they've gotten into the business. As Abdul said, you don't exaggerate, right? And then you thank the mentor for their time ahead of the meeting, right? Because the mentor is actually helping you out in showing this business opportunity to your guest. You don't thank your guest for their time because it's actually them who's benefiting from this opportunity, right? Your mentor is actually coming to help you out. So in front of your guest, your respect should be very apparent. So this is the first, you know, one of the few rules that you follow. The other rule is, you know, you should learn yourself. You're, you know, a lot of us right now are at a learning stage of the business. We need to absorb as much as possible from our upline. It's just like when a father hands a kid or his, you know, his child or son or daughter a new toy, right? The packaging and everything, the kid will give to the father to open up, right? But as soon as the father opens up, the kid is watching closely to see how the father opens that up, so that he or she doesn't need the father's help later at a later stage. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. You know, your upline is there while he or she has time for you. Get the most out of their experience and learn. Be excited, because excitement is contagious. Okay. Another rule is, you know, the reason is your guest will copy what you do. Okay. If you're wearing a t-shirt, shorts, and laying back, you know, checking your phone, of course they will not take you seriously, right? If you're there professionally, your phone's silent or in your pocket, you're edging on your seat to listen to what your coach is saying, your guest will keep looking at you, even out of the corner of their eyes, even if you don't notice. Okay, you'll be present and you're their kind of model in that situation. Okay, because this is entirely new for them. They don't know what to do. So they're going to look at who they know, which is you. Does that make sense? Another thing is, whenever your upline, your coach, whoever's showing the plan for you, right? If you correct them, or if you know, kind of, you know, improve upon what they're saying, your prospect is not going to take you seriously, right? When I was showing my plans, you know, I listened to a bunch of these CDs saying that, you know, when your upline speaking, you stop speaking, right? Because this is one of the things that harshly kind of affects their credibility in front of your guest, right? You're showing that, and you're being genuine about it. You're showing your respect for your upline. So you stay quiet when your upline is speaking, or whoever is showing the plan is speaking. Okay. After the plan is done, of course, you thank your mentor again. Okay. And of course, you're not making this up. You're genuinely thanking them for their time, because they have a much bigger team than you, and you know, their time is very valuable. And as Abdul said before, you've made that clear from the beginning in the phone qualification as well, right? Their time is very valuable. So you need to thank them, right? And the reason for all of this is, you know, your prospect is gonna, you know, regardless of your ratio of getting people in or whatever you want to call it, right? You're expecting that person to be a part of your team, right? And your team is obviously, it's your team. You're going to have contact with them. They're going to be a reflection of you. So if you do 100%, they're probably going to be doing 50 to 80%, right? If you're doing 50%, they're probably going to not even do 5 or 10%. You need to have that sort of control, not control, but like that sort of excitement, that skill to, that which is going to be reflected from your team. Your team is learning from you. Now, if during these 4 basics, the process doesn't go that well and the foundation is not set right, even though they join up later, if the communication is not open or whatever, that's going to be harshly affected or negatively affected on your team. Okay. One example is, when I was talking to Vinod, he told me about, when I had lunch with him, he actually drove down here from Pittsburgh to actually meet me, which is amazing. And he told me that, in my team, whenever he's doing his open meetings, his team is there. In his team's perspective, Manoj, who is Vinod's elder brother, is actually a rock star, right? His team members really know that his time is very valuable and he's a lot of value to add. And this is all because how Vinod treats Manoj in front of everyone. I hope that makes sense. That's pretty much it. I would like to introduce the next speaker to you. He's my upline in the business, Nasser. Oh, and I forgot to introduce myself in the beginning. My bad. My coach in the business is Muhammad Khan, the one and only. But my upline, the one who invited me to this business, who's the next speaker, is Nasser. And we actually met in high school, and he invited me to the business a few months ago. Amazing work ethic. He's been around in this business. He just started his new leg, so congratulations, Nasser, for that. And he's doing great. He has a massive organization, amazing work ethic. Please take him seriously. Over to you, Nasser.
All right. Thank you, Alishan, for that wonderful introduction. I'm quite sure I didn't pay you. But with that, like Alishan said, my name is Nasser. I'm a senior mechanical engineering student at UP. Will be graduating this December as well. So excited about that. And my upline is Shabir, and my coach is the one and only Muhammad. So first of all, I would like to thank Muhammad for arranging this training session. It is really important for the whole team to learn from the best in the business. Okay. So the topic that I will be addressing is what to do in between showing the plan and the follow-up. Now, for people who don't know the difference, showing the plan is the part where you show the presentation, either with your coach or at a presentation session like an open. And the follow-up is the point where you address the issues the potential business partners might have and get them started appropriately. Now, when someone sees a presentation and is given all the necessary information, they can do 3 things. They can either say, thank you, it was a wonderful presentation, let's get going. You sign up them and show them let them go through the whole checklist process. Or they can say, thank you, it was a wonderful presentation, but it is not from me. Now, that's fine as well. Don't freak out. Not everyone is up for entrepreneurship. So that's fine as well. Or they can say, thank you, it was a wonderful presentation. I have a few doubts and concerns that I would like to address before I would like to further our partnerships. Now that is the part which I will be addressing, the last scenario, because this scenario occurs the most in our business or probably in any interaction that you might have. Now, first of all, when you're setting up the time for the follow-up, make sure the time gap between a presentation and the follow-up is limited to 1 to 2 days, maybe 3 days at most. Now, why is that necessary? Now, because any shorter than that of a time gap, the potential business partner will not have enough time to review the material that you provided. And it also seems desperate. Now, remember, we are building quality networks and we are building not quantity networks. So time any longer than 1 to 2 days will lead to forgetfulness and the information that will not be as fresh as the potential business partner's mind. And if it goes more than that, that's fine. If there is any problems or the time schedule problems, it's fine as well. But make sure it's between that 1 to 2, maybe 3 days of a time gap. Now, similarly, a few hours before the follow-up, it is very likely that the person that you will be sitting with might cancel or postpone. Now, you can respond to that in many ways. You can either be the aggressor, show him or her the aggression or whatnot, because why not? He is messing up your schedule, he's messing up your business. But don't do that actually, because that's not the best way to respond to that. It is not appropriate because it might make you happy, but it does not make the other person be comfortable around you for future interactions. Okay. So the best way to approach such a scenario would be first to see what's the reason behind him or her canceling the meeting. Now, many a times there might be an emergency. Then it is better to show genuine concern or emotion to the person you're sitting with and wish them good luck in resolving the situation. And talk about the business after a few days. No need in Russian. Now, if it is an excuse like their pet is sick or they hit their toe while they're walking outside the door, or I don't know, some lame reason, and then you can tell them straight up, hey, we can set an appropriate time with my coach and he reserved an hour for us. Now, I understand that stuff comes up, but also understand that he is my coach. I refer you to him or her, and don't make me look bad in front of him or her, because he is your coach. He is taking time out of his schedule to coach you. Now, time is more important. Time is probably the most important thing in this world because you can't take it back. Okay, it is very effective statement. Now, it also depends what kind of person you're sitting with. If it is a person who is a close friend of yours, you can be straightforward. You can tell him, hey man, come on, don't be like that. Come up, we'll have some food and come sit with me. That's pretty good actually. Now, if it is a person who is like you meet during lunch or class, or you just met, and so there are many ways to deal with such excuses. Now, I can't cover all of them in this limited time, but the best way to handle these excuses is by reading some people's skills book, like how to handle objections or how to make friends and influence people, because these books actually lead to an effective communication. And you can also ask your coach what to do by you sending him screenshot, hey, Mohammed, what to do and ask for help. Yes, it is fine. 2 or 3 times, it's perfectly normal because you don't know what to respond to that as well. But after 2 or 3 times, you need to see how to get the right approach. Now, you will make mistakes. Don't forget that. But that's fine. Mistakes are a part of the process. It will make you a better person, mentally and physically. And to be a better communicator in the end as well. And with that also, we all know the function is coming up. I think Abdul talked about it. The summer conference. This year, most of the team is going to Dayton, Ohio. And so now, why go there? Now, I asked myself the same question as well when the second time I was going to a conference. Now, first of all, remember, it is different every time. The people who are speaking at stage, they have new knowledge to share every time as well. Now, you might also ask, the CDs are the same thing as well. But remember, only like a few CDs from a convention make to the BWW BSM program. And with that, I would like to bring the next speaker. His name is Shabir. He graduated from UB last January as a biosciences major. But right now, he is a project manager at a firm where you would only find engineers and engineers only. Now, with that, it's over to you, Shabir.
All right. Thank you very much, Nasser. Everybody can hear me? Say a thumbs up. All right, great. So thank you for bringing me up, Nasser. I really appreciate the recognition and yes, he is true. I did graduate with a degree in biology from SUNY Buffalo, and currently I work at Robert Bosch in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So it's pretty exciting. I work here as a project manager, and we build MEMS microphones in the mornings. So that's what I do full time. However, in my evening and spare time, I'm actually expanding my startup opportunity that I started with the help of Mohammed Khan, who's my business coach and sponsor. And yeah, we actually got started like when I was a sophomore, and my actually the topic I've been assigned for now. Of course, obviously, thanks Mohammed Khan for putting the call together and assigning me a topic. We have 4 steps in the 4 basics. Now, 4 basics. Those of you who have just seen the plan or just have got started, that's for you. Is just that the 4 basics is just the 4 steps that we use to network and identify the right partners. So number 1 step is the list, a list of people that has like a list of names where you just know everybody that you know. That's it. And then you give them a phone call, just like everybody talked about in the start. And then we have a business presentation where there's a slideshow or the open meeting or wherever. And then the 4th final step, which I think is the most crucial step where most people can make most mistakes, it's called the follow-up appointment. So in the follow-up appointment, what you do, there are only 2 purposes for it. Now, if you're new, you're seeing this for the first time, you're understanding what a follow-up means. It just means that when they see the presentation, they might not immediately be green light, or they might be a yellow light, as in like they have liking to what they saw. But then we also tell them that, hey, whatever you see in the presentation is not going to be enough for you to know what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. So when we say stuff in the plan, like, you build a team, they don't know how to build a team. So we tell them this is how we build it. And I've seen most people take a big difference to that, because the overview is for anybody, but the follow-up is actually for the serious people. And normally what we have seen is if you actually have the skill set to actually get someone from the overview to the presentation, from the presentation to the follow-up appointment, 80% of the work is there. And the quality of your team is going to come from the activity that you do in the 4 basics. And the end product, the follow-up, is just like let's just call it an exam that happens at the end. Because in the follow-up, there's 2 things that's going to happen. Either the guy is going to come in with a bunch of questions with the idea of getting started, or the guy is not going to show up saying some excuse that he's not ready to get started or whatever. Or he's like, I have some questions, but I'm not sure yet. So can we just meet and go over those? The follow-up essentially is for 2 things. So if you're new, your upline is helping you with these. Now, why in the world would your upline help you? Why? Because when I got started, I did not know how to answer some of these questions that people had. It's natural, right? Because they might have something very over the top that you haven't addressed yet. Or there might be questions that your prospect or guest asks that you haven't asked before. That happens. It happens to me even now. And the most objectionable or any question that anybody can give, your upline should be there to help you out. So that's the whole goal. And what your goal is, what you as a new IBO watching this appointment is, A, you make sure you thank your coach. And at this point, you should use people-friendly words, not business-friendly. Like, you shouldn't refer to them as your prospect or your upline. They don't really relate to what that means. So that's just a tip. We have had some funny situations in the team. But the idea is that when people actually sit down for the appointment, you should not be in the mindset of getting this guy in. Like, hey, whatever happens, I'm getting this guy in. You want to sit down with an open head and think, hey, is this person's skill set match what we are looking for to build my team? See, because in this business, we're not anybody's bosses. You decide what type of people you're going to work with. And your upline is just very good at identifying that, so that's why he's there. Now, the first 10 to 11, 12 appointments, you should be the one watching how your upline answers these questions. So he's going to do a very simple process. Those of you who are in Mohammed's team, I think all of us are here. There's a very simple process you're going to see. You're going to see how he asks the questions to people, and he actually sets the tone for the appointment, and you're going to let him do that. In the same time, when he's doing that, you should not be checking your phone. You should be fully attentive, just like Alishan was saying. It devalues your whole business if you're like looking on the side and like getting up in the way every second minute. Like, the biggest mistake you can do as someone who's an IBO is when your upline's doing the appointment, you just get up and walk and like go here and there, or like start talking or do something that really like takes light away from him, because your friend is watching you. And if you're gonna be checking your phone at the appointment, it's not gonna matter what he's doing in the appointment. Like, it's not even gonna matter, because he's looking at the appointment and he's thinking, okay, this guy is saying he's his coach, but he got up to the bathroom while he was talking, so maybe I can do whatever. You don't want that to happen. And couple of side notes. You should not be in the process of thinking, how do I get this guy in? You should rather be thinking, hey, I'm going to sit down and watch Mohammed how he does it. I'm really thankful for that, because there might be mistakes that I can make that he can fix later on. So in front of your guest, again, the whole goal before the appointment and after the appointment is give your upline a call. Give him a call and ask, what am I going to see? What am I going to learn? And what is going forward? What do you see for me to happen? Like, what do you see that I need to learn from this? And he's going to tell you. Like, if you call Mohammed, hey, Mohammed, we're going to this appointment with John. He looks excited, but I'm not sure if he's ready to get started. What do you think I should be focusing on? If you're doing this before the appointment, I think 80% of what you're doing, Mohammed's really happy with, because then he understands that you get how the appointment is going to go. And eventually, you will be able to do them on your own. Not right now, maybe, but the idea is that eventually you should be in a place where you can get people started easily. For me, that was a big challenge. Hey, how do I get people started? It's good. That's up to be thinking like that, because you want your team to grow. But if you grow it the wrong way, let's say you start people up who are not ready to get started, who are reluctant, then you might have a problem 1 month down the line where people are going to just not take you seriously or leave. But always be okay booking a second appointment. So your upline will judge that, because he's there, he'll understand that, hey, this person is saying that, hey, I might want to get started this day or whenever. So your upline is going to make it a very calm way, and knowing Mohammed, he's going to calm down and he's not going to freak out and attack the person. That, hey, what do you mean you don't have time? Like, what does he mean? He's going to sit down and he's going to be okay bringing up like the team, or he's going to set up another appointment, and between that appointment, he's going to give them a BSM track. In your case, if you're the IBO, what you can do is you can actually go and preload that app for them and tell them, hey, this might come in handy. I want you to listen to what Mohammed's saying, because these are the things that he taught me and they really helped me. And you genuinely feel like that, because if you don't go through the track, then chances are your friend won't either, right? So it's just like, if you've not done something, you cannot recommend it to anybody. That's just how it is. Now, just keep it consistently, and the 10-15 appointments that are going to be done, you just make sure you have enough people in the process that are actually going through the 4 basics. That's all you can do, because we have like 150, 200 people that we're connected with. Your goal is just to find 4 or 5. It's not like you have to like make sure everybody in your Facebook list starts in your business. It's not how it's going to work. So that's why we have this intricate process. Now, I think I am almost done. And the next thing is going to be, I'm going to bring up, who am I bringing up? I'm going to bring up Mohammed to actually bring up our senior coach. His name is Dr. Ratan Nair. And I'm really excited that he's taken time to come into our call and actually add value to the team. And with that, I'm going to bring up my personal business coach. Guys, he has a business that is doing $25,000 this month in turnover, in revenue, which means by the end of the year, he's going to clock in around $250,000 in his private company. For me, I don't know many people in that age bracket that actually can even imagine doing that with a full-time job. Like, it's unheard of. And knowing what his finances look, I think in a year or so, his student loans are all going to be paid off. So I hope you're understanding how big of a business he has. And we are just one of the teams. He actually has many other teams on the side of us. So I'm going to bring up Mohammed. I really thank him every time he's sitting down with me and giving me a game plan to build my future finances. So over to you, Mohammed Khan.
All right, awesome. All right, well done, guys. I was actually taking a lot of notes. I learned actually a lot myself from your calls. But excellent work. Abdul, very on point. I love the fact that you gave references to CDs. Excellent. Alishan, and just I don't know. You know that you're growing for a reason. Okay, and by your speech pattern, I know exactly why that is. So very, very well done. Nasser, man, I don't know what to say, man. That was clear cut. All right, that was Prime Minister of Pakistan level, talk that was happening. So very well done. I love it. And Shabir, man, Shabir. If you guys don't know, he's Mr. Worldwide. Right? He builds business in 5 countries. That's not something that a lot of he started in his dorms, right? So that's not a lot of things people can say. And obviously, I can never forget about Rishabh, right? Rishabh, he is the definition of hustle. All right, he's gone through the setbacks, the failures. But it takes a big man to get knocked down and keep moving again. All right, which is why he's going to have a big business. All right, so I'm not going to take up too much time. I know I was somehow able to convince Dr. Nair to connect with us. So for those of you guys that don't know, Ratan Nair, he was actually the one that started showing business plans for me first. Okay, so everything that you guys learned today is stuff that he was actually helping me out when I first got started. Okay, and again, he's doing his PhD in computer science. His research is in artificial intelligence. Stupid people don't build this business. Okay, you'll be surprised by the level of association that you're in with the system. But even just his business on the side, still within I think he has 1 or 2 months left of his PhD program. In his side business, he makes more than I do at my full-time job. All right, his business is going to be at a Q12 level. That is ridiculous income. Okay, and he's not 47. He's only a couple of years, maybe a year or so older than I am. Okay, so without any further ado, Ratan, thank you so much for connecting, and it's over to you, man.
All right, I hope you guys can hear me fine. Awesome. Yeah, this looks like a huge call, man. You guys are amazing. I heard at least Shabir speak, so I'm quite sure all of you added a lot of value. I don't see much smiling face. I hope not many people got beaten up or anything. But I'm here to cheer you up. Okay? And I'll probably talk about some of the stories and probably end with that, so that kind of can connect. I know a lot of you are new, probably in your first 6 months, I should say. So you're still getting used to the fact about terms, uplines, downlines, whatever. I never understood why there was lines. Okay, but there is a line. Probably because you want to connect with somebody, right? But for those of you who don't know me, just to introduce, like Mohammed said, my name is Ratan. I'm a computer science PhD, and I'm sitting in my lab just to show you, probably not just kidding. I came to do some work, run some experiments. I'm just finishing my PhD. I'm like a month away from graduating with my PhD. Originally, I'm from India. I moved up here in 2011 to pursue master's. Most of you, are students and pursuing what your career is and whatnot. Similar, same thing. Maybe you're doing bachelor's, maybe you're doing master's, or maybe you're doing PhD. You might end up doing all that, but at the end of the day, understand that we all have some spare time, and that's all what me and my wife. My wife isn't here; she's doing some another training at my home. That's how I got kicked out. But she's doing a training there. She's got a double master's herself. Okay, and like Mohammed said, we understand what we're doing. And I was talking to somebody earlier. Here's what I learned, right? The way I thought was, if I could do anything that could be long-term versus short-term, I would pick long-term. Okay, I'm quite sure each of you would. And that's how I got started. Now, just to kind of, initially I got introduced to the business through my wife. Okay. Back then she was not my wife, obviously. So she introduced me the business, and I was like, I met this, she promoted this, her brother, okay, who's our upline, Vinod Abida, and I'll talk about him more. So he promoted saying that, oh, he's an electrical engineer and he's doing some projects, he's looking for people. And here's this dude who wants to be a PhD. I'm like, wow, engineering project, a guy who's working full-time wants to do a project with me. I'm going to go impress him. And that's how I ended up going to a McDonald's, sitting down with him. And some of you probably went through that, okay? But here's what I found. I knew that it wasn't engineering or anything, but I was always open-minded to making extra money. And I was doing part-time odd jobs, and I said, if that odd job, I don't see myself doing that 5 years down the line or making money out of it, why would I do that? Why wouldn't I do something long-term? And that's all I saw. A year down the line, my check was a fat $10. Okay, really fat. That I could just put down as a cash down for the next Ferrari that came out. No, not really. Okay. Did I believe I was going to make any money? Heck no. Okay. But all I did was get connected with somebody, and I stuck around. I just stuck around. You could not, you probably would see me once in a while, but I was there. Okay. Anytime anyone called me, I would answer the calls. Okay. And that's all I did. I didn't do plans. I don't show as many plans like Alishan does. Nowhere close. Okay, probably a year down the line, I was still figuring out how the heck does this business work? Who do I show the plan to? I knew 5 roommates, all of them were negative. They said they knew everything before I even spoke to them. I was like, okay, here goes my 5 legs. I was supposed to go emerald and diamond. What happened now? Right? So some of you will get there. Some of you might have teammates go there. I know you guys are growing like crazy. you might have somebody getting stuck there. And I want you to relate to the Ratan who saw that back then. All right. The only reason I could grow was because I was stuck with this gentleman, Gaurav Verma. Okay, Gaurav and Sapna have coached me and Shrija, my wife, through this business. Okay, back then my business did $300. I still remember. For those of you who understand cricket, it's an Indian sport. I remember talking to Gaurav about cricket. Okay, that was my first conversation with Gaurav Verma. Okay, talk about upline. I know this call is all about uplines, right? I spoke to him and I maintained that connection. That's how I built a connection. So some of you who might be in that stage where the person who's talking to you is talking about some random things, maybe weather, maybe sports, maybe something, something generic. And you're like, what the heck does that have to do with my business? Why don't you tell me what to do with the business, right? They're building a relationship with you. And that's the end goal of it, okay? Someday understand it's a win-win situation, like soccer. If you guys like soccer, I can talk to you soccer for the rest of the day, okay? I love soccer as well, right? Now, same thing. So somebody is trying to build a connection. So your goal is not to get into business, start showing plans. Not really. Take your time. Okay. Now, some of you have already doing that. Don't stop. Okay. Don't say that Ratan told me to not do it. I'm going to stop. No, that's not what I meant. Okay. Take time. It's okay. Somebody might be growing fast. Somebody might not be. That's okay. Okay. Take your time. Your upline is always there. Remember, it's a win-win situation. When you grow, Muhammad's business grows. Right. And that's all what you want. When your business grows, Shabir's business grows. Maybe Nasir's business. Maybe Alishan's business. Whoever is working with you. Okay, so it's a win-win situation. So that's why they want to talk to you. They want to stay in touch with you. Now, they will never push you out of the way. Why? They would rather keep the relationship with you than push you to do something that you don't want to do. So if you say, hey, I'm not interested in doing this, they'll back off and they'll say, hey, let's hang out. Let's eat biryani or something, if you like biryanis. Okay, something like that. Okay, they'll hang on. Now, the moment you decide to start getting serious, okay, the moment Ratan decided a year and a half down the line that, hey, this is it, this has to grow because somebody else was growing faster than me. I said, I have to do something. I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing enough. That's when 4 Basics kicks in. That's where I decided to do 4 Basics. Now, 4 Basics, as it is, seems very simple. You make a list, you call them, you check interest, and then you show them the plan and get them going, right? And you do the process all over again. Now, in the mean, what is most important is the connection between each of those, okay? And a lot of focus doesn't go into that. A lot of people focus on the steps. Now, once you get people going, how do you build a relationship? Once you set things up, how do you build teams, right? And that's where Muhammad's a master at that. Okay, as you can see what's happening in Florida, he's a master at that. That's where you want to learn that. That's why you want a person to help you with. So I remember showing my own plans and connecting with Gaurav. Okay, getting my friends to talk to Gaurav, listening to him, learning from him, talking to him, me having to promote. Now, I'm a computer science PhD. I was in the process of getting to a PhD program. Gaurav has only a bachelor's. Does that have anything to do with it? Heck no. Okay, his finances were way better than mine back then and even today. So there was naturally a reason for me to leverage on him. Now, can I speak about his education background? Sure, but I was more interested in what he was working full time as well as what he had accomplished in the business. Okay, so let's say some of you might be older than Muhammad or some of you might be more educated than Muhammad. Still, that doesn't make a difference, right? Muhammad still is the person who knows more in the business. It's like if I'm a PhD, but you want to learn soccer, you're not going to ask me soccer, right? You're going to ask me about computer science. Why? Because I'm not educated in that field. Fair enough. So it's the same thing that applies here as well. And that's when I started taking leverage on it. Okay. 4 years from that day, we are in Q12 qualification. This year, like how Mohammed said, we are looking at in the ballpark of about $55,000 spare time income. My full-time income, the average income that I'm looking at is about $120,000, $130,000 per year. Okay, this is not for me to brag. Okay, this is not that's not my motive behind it. It's just because I want you to see the long-term picture. Okay, what I want you to see is that it is still possible that you can be really, really successful professionally or academically, and you can still pursue it. Okay, and I built it completely as a student. I've barely worked like 3 months interning with PayPal in California. Outside of that, I've been just going to school, doing research, and working on campus as a research assistant or a teaching assistant. I built that. The only reason I was able to do it is by leveraging. Now, there are a couple of things. So you might have an open meeting. Okay, there are people who plug in there. You want to go there so that you can take your guest with you and eventually grow it. Okay, and there's a really good example, right? If you want to dig a hole, you can dig it anywhere. But if you want to dig 1,000 holes, you might as well have a process behind it. That's why think about yourself. Okay, now you might be thinking, I don't have a team, or I have only a couple of people. Can't I go sit at their home and teach them what I know? Or can't Mohammed come to their place and teach them what they know? Sure, he can probably do that. But can you imagine yourself taking that 2 to 1,000 or 200 and then sitting down with each individual? If today I decide to talk to each of you separately, just in this call, do you realize that's about 15, 20 hours of my week gone if I decide to talk once a week? How about the rest of the team? That's about 100, 120 hours, if not more, that I'll have to spend. Remember, we're billing the spare time, not full time. Why would you want to reinvent the wheel again? Right? The goal is not to reinvent the wheel. The goal is to use leverage on somebody else's experience and growth. Okay, and that's the whole purpose of education. Right? So learn to do that. Learn to be humble. Learn to grow yourself. Take help from people, and be open-minded to listening to things that you might not like. Right? And that's something that so I still talk to Gaurav and Sapna. Okay, I still have to take, like we were in. I hope you guys saw the dance and whatnot. Mohammed is hilarious. His dance. If you haven't seen it, please go to Facebook and check out that video. Mohammed is our star performer of the night. We have fun, right? We were hanging loose. We were having fun. Some of them are really big, high executives in companies. Okay, if you go to their office, you can't dance with them. They might not even let you inside their office. Okay, so those kind of people were dancing around, right? So we have a lot of fun, but I take them seriously. I listen to them. I take their advice. And there was no other person. And I'll end with this. There was no other person who was willing to take out time from their family, their life, and invest into my life and help me make money. Neither will your boss, neither will your professor, neither any of your friends will do that. Yes, your friends will come around to take their time out and waste your time as well. Right? Very few can invest their time into you to help you. Nothing against friends. I have friends. Okay, but I had to realize that long term was taking care of my finances and my family's finances were really important. That was a priority for me. And that is still a priority. I would love to help. Okay, there are certain cases which I've missed weddings or birthday parties. I send them a gift. Then see how many people miss you. They would rather have that gift than you at times, or most times, I should say. Okay. Now I know you guys had the privilege of having those of you who are in Florida. Vinod is flying down there. Vinod Ramchandran. He's our upline sponsor. My wife's, elder brother that I was talking to you about. And today they have massive businesses. They both are full-time. Vinod and Abida work full-time as electrical engineers, making 6-figure incomes each in their professional career. They're in the process of replacing a 1 6-figure income through this business in the next 1 to 2 years. Okay, you don't get too many people flying out. Ask Mohammed, did he pay for the flight ticket or Vinod paid for the flight ticket? Right? Nobody paid him. Right? He's flying for his business, obviously, to help you guys grow your business. Now it's up to you if you want to take advantage. If I were you, I would see how I can get as many people as in front of him and take leverage of him, promote him, get some, you have the flyer, use that flyer, distribute it across the guests that you want to invite. Promote him well enough, because you don't get to hang out with too many electrical engineers as successful as he is, okay, to meet you. And on top of that, he's got a massive business as well. All right. So make sure you do that. And the last thing is there is a bigger conference that's happening in Dayton, Ohio. I know Alishan is going to be closer than most of you, although being from Florida. It's in Dayton, Ohio. Okay. And it's a massive function. There are about 6,000, 7,000 entrepreneurs coming together. If you want to speak on stage, at least you have to do about $5 million in turnover to be speaking on stage. So there are diamonds and up who will be talking on stage at that particular conference. It's a couple of days. It's over a weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Work with Mohammed so that you can plan out your trip. I know it's about few 10 plus hours drive for you guys. Okay, drive, fly. If I were you, again, it's like, do you want to play at a pro level or do you want to play at a school level? Okay, and that's up to you to decide. Okay, if I were you, again, I'd try and get to that. Okay, that's about it from me. Okay, let me know, or Shrija know, if there's anything I'd like to we can do for you. I was actually there in Florida way before all of you showed up. Okay, so I like to come out next time and hang out with you guys and have fun. Maybe play some games, play soccer or something. The training, I leave it to Vinod and Mohammed to do. Okay, I'll come do all the fun stuff with you. You guys can do all the trainings. I'll do the trainings online. Why come there and waste the weather sitting in a room? Right. All right, guys, you have a wonderful night. I hope I was able to add some value addition to you and your team. If there is anything different from what Mohammed has been saying that I said, please listen to him. Okay, because tonight I'm gone. You might not even see me for at least a few weeks, but Mohammed is going to show up tomorrow and help you out. So definitely listen to him more. All right. With that, it's over and out, guys, from me. You guys have a wonderful night. Take care. Bye.
Thank you very much, Ratan.
No problem, Shubir.
Bye, Ratan. Thank you so much, Ratan.
Thank you.
All right, guys, it's a wrap. I'll be seeing some of you guys later, so you guys enjoy your evening.
All right.
Bye.
Adios.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.